Where's my light? Here's my light. Here are the trees. I'm in the forest. I'm Bevin. Welcome back to my vlog. Okay, I use a tripod every day. You wouldn't know it sometimes, but you don't have to be perfect to get things done. You just got to do it. Action cures fear. Wow, this is like taking awkward to a new level. Hey everybody, I'm Bevin. I'm so glad you're here at my vlog in the forest. From the forest where I'm gonna find a spot to put this on. Oh, so much better. Okay. Can we be great? Can we be great? Here we are. I don't really edit these, so here we are being great together. Hi everybody. I wanted to talk today about identity and kind of rooting into who you want to be, who you are in the world. I think a lot of us get really caught in the webs of what other people think our lives should look like. That was true for me. I grew up an overachiever, gifted kid, read a lot of books. I just learned on TikTok that if you read a lot of books as a kid, you were probably dissociating from trauma. I did. In fact, I read all the Babysitter's Club books, all the Sweet Valley High books, all of the ways in which I could transport myself into someone else's adolescence so I did not have to experience the excruciating loneliness and discomfort of my own. However, as an adult, I get to heal from all of that stuff, right? Like, so we're not stuck with the hand that we're dealt. You're born looking like your dad and you die looking like your choices is one of my favorite quotes. And it's true. I referenced this a few vlogs back that I wish I could give my 16-year-old self the book Atomic Habits, which is a really good book that kind of breaks down how to get stuff done in life rather than getting caught up in how... I don't know, fear-based procrastination is how I spent a lot of my stressed out time as a young person and as a young adult and as a middle adult, I don't know. And so now that I know that there's a different way to be and a different way to get things done, I am so into it. And that's what I want to help people get into. So part of Atomic Habits, I just started reading it again, is creating an identity for yourself, right? So instead of like aiming for goals, you aim for an identity. So, I hate weight loss examples. This book is full of like, I don't think fat is anything bad. I think there's lots of ways that people are fat and that none of them are bad. You don't owe anyone your health, but you can also be fat because of changes in hormones, side effects from diseases. Fat people are extraordinarily misdiagnosed for things because we're pathologized for fat, but there's other things that go on, right? Health at every size is science. You can be healthy at any size. Sometimes you're fat because of benign genetic diversity. That I think is in my case, but also early dieting in your life can screw up your metabolism forever. And so it's just so funny how like these adults try to get you on all these diets so that you won't be fat and then it makes you fat later, or fatter later, whatever. But there's no wrong way to be, and we know this. So, but if you want to be healthier, right? If you're aiming for health, results, you want to identify as a healthy person, right? Instead of saying, I'm not going to eat that because I'm on a diet, say, I'm not going to eat that because would a healthy person eat that, right? Sometimes, yes, healthy people are not healthy 100% of the time, right? Like it's all about moderation. That 80-20 rule really applies in a lot of places. So, or like the smoking example is easier. And of course you don't owe anyone your health, so you don't have to not smoke if you don't want to. But, do you want a cigarette? No, I don't smoke versus, or no, I'm not a smoker versus no, I'm trying not to smoke, right? Like it's a semantic difference, but it is a mindset about identifying as who you want to be. I'm reading this great book right now called The Fear Fighter's Manual, or Professional Troublemaker, The Fear Fighter's Manual by Luvvie Ajayi Jones. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. Such a great book. I'm reading it in short clumps, like chapter by chapter, so I can really integrate. Because she says some really profound stuff, like think big. If a bunch of white guys, the summit guys, can buy a mountain, they bought a whole mountain, you can think bigger than you think, right? And so she teaches that. That's a whole chapter. That's a lot to digest. In the first chapter, she talks about an Oriki, which is, it's in her tradition, Nigerian. It's given at birth and you kind of announce it at major times in that person's life. But anyone can create their Oriki at any time. And I thought that was a really cool way to integrate what I had learned from Atomic Habits about identity. And also what I learned in another book about giving yourself a commercial, right? It's kind of like an affirmation, but in a more intense and intentional way. But that a commercial that you give yourself is like your hype up thing when you're about to do something that freaks you out. And everything you want is on the other side of your comfort zone. So you got to do the thing that makes you scared so that you get better. That's imposter syndrome. You think you're not good enough the first time, or as Dr. Brene Brown likes to say, effing first times, right? But after you get that under your belt a few times, then it's not as scary anymore, right? So I thought this was a really good way to integrate what I learned about like giving yourself a hype up commercial, and also just integrating what Luvvie had talked about. So I spent quite some time figuring out what is my Oriki and what is it going to be. So I'm going to give it to you with a little bit of explanation so that you can go and create your own, because I want you to have a little commercial you can tell yourself to gas yourself up every time there's something on the other side of your comfort zone. A paper you're intimidated to write, a blog post you're intimidated to write, a performance that you need to give, a stressful day at work, a big presentation, whatever it is that you have going on that you need to get yourself into peak performance for, this is what this is for. This is to get you into who you are. I have a spot on the trail. This is why I'm actually talking about it right now. This is my spot. I call it Beyonce's knoll. I do not know how it is that I started identifying parts of the trail with specific performers that I admire, but I call this Beyonce's knoll. It's this whole like beautiful kind of fairy circle almost. There's some energetic imprints in this forest that are distinct, and as I continue to develop, I start to connect with them more intentionally and understand them specifically. So this is Beyonce's knoll. What a great place, that Virgo boss babe. Happy almost birthday, Beyonce. Birthday 9/4. 8/1. B-Day. Put your birthday at the beginning of a song. Be that bitch. Anyway, so my Oriki, I always say it up here, like at the, Virgo boss babe in her greatness, truly in her excellence, teaching us to be in our own greatness and our own excellence. We will never be Beyonce. We are each and every one of us just who we are, bringing our individual greatness to the earth. So my Oriki, it always starts with your name and then your house and then your last name, and then whether you're first of your name or second or whatever, right? Like if you were a junior, or etc. So I'm Bevin of House Fat Kid Dance Party, first of her name. I don't use a last name, so I decided to take the name of my firstborn child, which is my business, Fat Kid Dance Party. I will change it when I do get a married name. I'll change it to whatever that house is. Or camp. I kind of like thinking about a family as a camp, an intentional collection of energy to live together for a time, right, while your kids are growing, and then they get to go be in their own houses or camps, right? Parenthood is so temporary, or ever evolving, I should say. Anyway, so Bevin of House Fat Kid Dance Party, first of her name, mother of Muppets, queen of the fairies, head cheerleader, doctor of laws, lifter of spirits, warrior for self-love, deliberate dancer. I thought about all of those a lot because I was trying to figure out, like, when I distill myself into an identity, into things that I'm great at, things that I've done that I'm proud of, or things that I want to do that I'm proud of, like what's like the hierarchy, it all matters. All of it is in a specific order. Mother of Muppets. Being a mother is truly the greatest job I'll ever have. I've only ever been a mother of fur babies so far, and they all look like Muppets. And I really imagine any kids I will have in the future are also hopefully going to be in their own Muppety nature, right? Like Muppets are, each and every one of them, so unique, expressive, funny, fun to be around, delightful, right? I want to be the kind of family that really fosters delight and joy and self-expression, because to be very frank, I love every person that was involved in my caregiving. I was not given that. And I was not given a space for a lot of delight growing up. And I want that for my kids, especially as their mother, which I think is going to be the most important job I'll ever do. Number 2 is Mother of Muppets, Queen of the Fairies. So that is both a gay reference, just being so queer and so gay, right? But it's also a reference to earth-based magic, which is super important to me. I'm a Reiki master. I do a lot of work with the fairies. Obviously, I'm in here energetically connecting to the trees. And so being Queen of the Fairies just felt really right for me, especially up at the top, because I think royalty is responsibility. And if you watch The Crown, and that first season of The Crown, as Lilibet is learning the responsibility of being Queen Elizabeth, right? Like really understanding what that means. She truly believes she's anointed by God to lead the British Empire. I believe each and every one of us is anointed by God to lead our lives and the people around us. I believe sovereignty is something that we're all inherently given. It's not just what birth order you're in and whether you happen to be born male. No, we're into full royalty. If you believe in Jesus, which I do, I love Jesus. Jesus is like a brother to me. If you believe in Jesus, Jesus gave you your sovereignty. That's the whole point of that story. So I really believe in anointing, that each of us gets our own anointing. So Queen of the Fairies, head cheerleader. It's my title at Fat Kid Dance Party. It's what I'm so proud of being. It's the thing I always wanted to be when I was a teenager, and I never tried out for the cheer squad because I was fat, and I just decided, and I didn't have money for it either. So both reasons I was like, didn't even try, but I wanted it really bad. And I learned all of the cheers anyway because I was a statistician for the varsity boys basketball team. So I was like quasi in the cheer squad without the cute outfit. So it is a goal of mine to get a cute cheer outfit for Fat Kid Dance Party, my first video series. There's a cheer routine we learn. I take it very seriously. I love being of good cheer. That's one of the most important gospels in my opinion. It's the first one. If I could only teach you one gospel, it would be of good cheer. You have it in you to find your cheer and to give it to others. And I think part of responsibility is being responsible with your tone and your attitude and how you present yourself in the world. And for me, I take that very seriously. So I am a head cheerleader. Next one, Doctor of Laws. I earned it. It was expensive, still haven't paid it off. Gonna pay it off with things that have nothing to do with being a lawyer. And yet, here I am, Doctor of Laws, still get to have it, still get to claim it. Lifter of Spirits. I kind of thought that was a little bit of duplicative to the head cheerleader thing, but also it is how I want to be in the world, right? Like I'm not always coming at people with cheer. I'm coming at people and matching where they're at and then lifting them up, right? So being a lifter of spirits, I think, is something I'm proud of, and it's something my friends reflect to me a lot, and I like that part about me. So I'm a lifter of spirits. Warrior for self-love. That was a title given to me by someone who wrote an article about me like 10 years ago, because it's really hard to figure out who it is, what it is that I do, right? Because I am an aerobics instructor, but I do so much more than that. And Fat Kid Dance Party is way more than a movement class. So it's funny that was given to me, but truly I do have a warrior spirit, and I truly believe in helping you find your self-love. You're not watching Cooking with Paris, you're watching my vlog. So clearly there's something in you that wants to learn and wants to level up. So I want to lift your spirits up, and I want to be a warrior for your self-love, right? So this is what I teach. This is how I am in the world. I believe that self-loving people are free, and that's what I'm here to spread. I'm helping leaders get free in their minds and bodies. And deliberate dancer. So I knew dancing needed to be part of it because it truly is my life's work, is dancing. I have had this deliberate dance habit since November of 2019 of dancing for at least 60 seconds. Doesn't have to be a happy song, but usually I try for something upbeat. But the dancing part is important. And it really, I was thinking about it because it matters to me more that I dance than that I'm good at dancing. I actually truly feel very neutral about whether I'm good or not. It doesn't matter. It matters that I do it. That's movement, right? Movement practice. Movement practice is not about, oh, you're great at this. It's that you moved your body. So I'm a deliberate dancer because I'm here to show you the way, dance the way, and liberate you in those ways. So that's my Oriki. What's yours? I hope that you will take some time, think about what's important to you and what identifies you so that you can start really creating a life that you love, that centers around the things about you that glow you up, and that you can release the personality ties and masks that were put on you by other people that you adapted in order to be safe with caregivers who didn't know how to raise an independent spirit or a flamboyant person or someone who's ever been called too much or too dramatic. I really tamped down my flamboyance and tried to hide all my fat and tried to hide my queerness when I was a young person. It didn't work. And so being able to just be free about who I am and how I am in the world, and just releasing more and more of these parts of me that aren't really me, so that I can really be me for you and help you see what's possible in your life. I hope you know that you're worthy of love exactly as you are, and there's nothing you need to change to be worthy of that love. That love is right here. It's already in you, and I can love you without even knowing you. People on the internet can hate me without even knowing me. I certainly can love you without knowing you. I love you so much. Thanks for being here. Bye, everybody.